Good morning everybody and welcome back to another film. So this morning I've come to the sand dunes, as you can see behind me, marram grass just about everywhere, and I've come to a place just north of where I was a few weeks ago. And if you cast your mind back to that video, I was looking into the light for nice dawn shots, but there was some buildings in the background, so I've come, like I said, just away from those. I've come further north of those so I can shoot with the sun off to the right hand side and hopefully get some beautiful light on these dunes behind me. Now there are some clouds you can see on the horizon there, in the opposite part of the sky where the sun's coming up. I think it's clear, so we should get some colour on that, but I'm hoping to take advantage of some of the beautiful textures and tones that you see on the marram grasses, some of the dips and the rises, and hopefully they'll get some nice modelling on them. I haven't got a composition in mind, so I'm going to get going and try and find something quickly. So after a frantic 10, maybe 15 minutes dashing around the dunes, I've not managed to find anything that I feel really shows the dunes off to the best. I'm not over familiar with this side of the dunes, and it is all pretty new to me here. Where I had thought I would walk to, the dune system drops off very, very quickly and it becomes really quite flat, and so I'm very limited in my choices. Good landscape photography often depends on really good planning, lots of advanced thinking about where the light's going to fall, the composition, where you're going to stand, and I haven't done any of that this morning. I just literally came and thought that I might just find something. I don't mind really with that. I quite like exploring, and I do like just dropping on something. And for me, as time's gone on, as I've been a photographer, I've sort of got less and less enjoyment out of knowing exactly where I'm going to be in the morning. And I do like that element of surprise, and what comes with that obviously is times where you're just not going to get what you were hoping for, but that's all part of the fun for me. So I've managed to find a little bit of a composition here, and I'm going to shoot that straight away. I think the sun is just literally about to come over the horizon. I've got a 0.6 graduated case filter just holding back the sky. The cloud that I saw earlier on is still on the horizon. I would have thought it would have coloured up by now, but we'll see what happens with that. But nice little composition in front and something to start the morning off. So wait for the light, and you never know, it just might work out. So just very, very quickly, this is the composition that I've got in mind. The immediate interest is this little gap here and these two patches, tussocks of marram grass, and I quite like the way they certainly appear on the camera, the way that the foreground around them just sort of rises up and creates some textures and details. And of course the background is all about beautiful dunes, and that is it. The sun is coming up to my immediate right, and we're about to get some really nice light on all this detail in front of us. So the time has come. It's that frantic few minutes when the sun has just cleared the horizon line. The light on the dunes is beautiful, and you can see there's some nice hues in the sky as well that I'm going to include in the frame. I've added a 6-stop neutral density filter on just to give a little bit of a longer exposure. There's only a slight breeze this morning. I want some movement in the grasses, so here we go. 25 seconds is the duration of the shot. F16, 100 ISO. I'm on 28mm, which is round about a 21mm on full frame, I think. And that's pretty much it. I'm focused on the near grasses, and we should get everything sharp front to back. So 2-second timer, 25 seconds like I've said, and I shall put that on now. So it's literally been about 5 minutes since I took that shot, and you can see behind me that the light is still quite nice, but the colour temperature is much cooler already. What I wanted for this scene this morning, which hopefully I got, was that nice golden light, the light that you only get just when the sun breaches the horizon. Hopefully I've got that, but for me now it's certainly nowhere near as nice as what it was earlier. So I'm going to head back to the van, get warmed up, get myself a nice warm drink and make a plan for where I go next. Change of scenery. So I had some breakfast and decided to move. It was very harsh light in my last location. There was no clouds whatsoever. I've moved a lot further inland. I'm just on the edge of the Pennines, and there's a lot more clouds, so I'm heading down into the woods, one of my most favourite habitats, and there's still quite a bit of blue sky about. It's clear spells, but an awful lot more clouds, so I should be able to get that nice soft light that I often like in my woodland shots. So this particular wood I've never been to before. It was recommended to me by a friend, so thank you, John, for recommending this to me. But having said that, I've not seen it yet, so I might take that back, but you never know. So just walking down the path just here, and just to the right of the path we got some unfurling male ferns. I'm going to lock the camera off now and just quickly talk you through the difference between the male fern and the buckler fern, because these two are commonly found in broadleaf woodland. So I'll just show you that and then we'll get into the shot. So here we've got the main stem of the fern frond. This is called the rachis, and off the rachis you get these leaflets which are actually called pinnae. Now when I refer to twice and three times pinnate, this is the bit that we talk about. So that's once pinnate. The next division, the leaflet that comes off that, is twice pinnate. Had that divided again, so that bit being split into little sections along its rib, that single leaflet there, that would be three times pinnate. So it'd be once, twice, and then three times across that. That's how you tell the difference between a male fern and a buckler fern. So this is all lined up and ready to go, and I've taken one or two just test shots. And initially I had the camera on a landscape orientation, but it suits the frame much better on a vertical portrait format. Now what I'm photographing, the main subject, is the top of this frond here, and as I often do, to soften the surroundings and make it more pictorial or artistic, I'm shooting through these two ferns in the foreground, so the main stems to either side of the shot, and then the leaflets coming off, just softening. And what I've done is I've arranged this in the gap just here, just so that I've got a nice sharp image where it matters. Now crucially, I've arranged the camera back to sit in a good position to take advantage of two leaflets to the left of this head, just so that it's not just about the head of the fern, to give a little bit more interest to the overall shot. And to balance it, there's a leaflet coming off here to the right that will be out of focus but will just hold the bottom part of the image. I'm on f4 because I really want to throw everything out of focus as much as possible. I've got the right light, nice soft light, 100 ISO and 100th of a second. So I'll pop that onto live view now, just check the histogram, everything looks good. 2-second timer, really nice. So this woodland is very much what's classed as probably secondary woodland, and secondary woodland is woodland that's developed on cleared land. So when we had the last ice age and Britain became completely wooded over, and then it was cleared by man, and in this instance this whole area, whether it was cleared prior to that I don't know, but it was eventually became an open cast mine, and it's been left since the mining stopped, and now the trees have colonised it. So you get a good mix of trees, from birches, elm, beech, all sorts of things, willow just over there, a good mix of trees, but it's all secondary, it's not been planted, and you can tell that by the fact that it's not very uniform, well, not uniform at all. Trees have just colonised, and you often find secondary woodland along disused railway lines. It's just where nature has naturally recolonised and turned the habitat back to woodland, and eventually this will become climax woodland. At the moment it's very, very scrubby, with a really good understory, very, very good for birds, but eventually they'll be replaced by a lot of mature tall trees, and the canopy will close over, and eventually all the ancient woodland plants will probably come back. But yeah, interesting how woodland develops. So I found myself coming out of the woodland. It's one of those situations that arises where there's plenty of cloud, but the sun doesn't seem to be hiding behind it much at all. And I was drawn to this area because it's quite a high diversity of plants, and it certainly might be somewhere that I could potentially think of coming back to. And I don't want to bore you with a big long species list, but it's quite exceptional, the numbers of plants that's in it. And one plant that grows in wet areas, which you can see just over there, it's quite marshy. There's a lot of meadow sweets growing, and meadow sweet's got a lovely, as the name suggests, lovely smell to it. I actually think it smells a bit like germaline from the old days, like a medicinal type smell. But anyway, as I've walked along the edge, I caught my eye was, you can see them there, they look like dandelions heads for all intents and purposes, but they're actually a plant called colt's foot. And colt's foot grows where the ground's been disturbed, often on stony ground, and it's one of the first plants to come into flower in early spring, and it looks very much like a dandelion. It's got a yellow flower, and it does the similar thing, it gets the clock on the head once it's set seed. But what I'm thinking, I'm going out on a limb here, I'm running out of time, is I'm going to set the camera up and I'm going to focus very, very closely on the first one and use the back one as out of focus background. Now I'm not sure whether it's possible, there's a bit of distance between the two, but my idea is to fill the frame with all the white parts of the flowering head. Now the wind is also quite high and those things are swaying around like I don't know what, but high ISO and getting lucky, you never know, I might just be able to nail it. Typically the sun's gone in a bit now, but in all fairness I would rather the sun be in when I take this shot. So I'm going to get the camera out and not put the tripod up initially and just have a look through the viewfinder to see if it's possible. But this is what I generally do, I see things and then I get the camera out and have a play around, and if it doesn't work I move on, and I never really fight with it. I find that within the first couple of seconds of looking through the viewfinder I get an idea that it's going to work or not, and whether it's worth staying and trying harder on. So let's do that. So I've been lying down here longer than I care to admit. I've started off with a tripod, and these things are really whizzing around 1600 ISO at the moment, and the minute I get the crucial bit snapped into sharp focus they go again. And I've been at it for ages. I've got an extension tube, I don't know whether I've mentioned that already, it seems like ages ago when I first got down here, just to help get closer, and what I've done in the end is different to what I thought I would do. I thought I would focus on this one and have the back one as the out of focus sort of pictorial aspect to the shot. But what's actually happened is that I found that it's better if I focus on the back one and use the front one as the out of focus foreground at the bottom of the frame. Excuse me. So I'm on f4, and what I'm trying to do is just get the bottom half of the back flower to be the main interest of the shot, and that's falling into the softness of this white foreground. I must have taken 300 pictures, I've not counted them, but I've taken a lot. And I've got to the point where I really need to be here on a much calmer day when I can set things up and do it properly. I feel like I've got here too late, and I'm fighting with it. I might have got something, but that's just too many to go through on the back of the camera. Like I say, I got rid of the tripod and I've just put it on aperture priority, and I've just been shooting away at every opportunity, hoping that I'll get what I've got in my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the best one on now, but I hope you've liked the video. It's been a bit of a weird one today, starting at the beach and heading up to the woods and now in a meadow, so it's been all over the place. But that's photography sometimes. You move around as the day progresses, and you move around with the light. But wherever I seem to go today, the light's not quite right or the wind's too strong, so it's been all right. I've got some decent images, I think, and I've certainly got out and enjoyed myself with the camera. That's the main thing. So if you have enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more from me. Leave some comments below, let me know what you think of the images, and don't forget there's now a join button, a membership button, that gives you access to early bird videos as and when they're produced. And also I do try to respond to comments to members immediately as they're put on the videos. So I'm going to leave it there. So thank you all again so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.